Changers, we are back. Sorry about all the issues. Thank you for keeping up with all of our IT issues all day long. We appreciate all of you. Appreciate every comment, share, like. Again, we're doing that contest all day long for a free ticket to our next event. We're going to take it away from Changing Lanes, though, and on to Noelle.
What's up, Noelle?
Hey, technical difficulties, but we're so good over here.
All good. Nobody even noticed.
Okay.
Well, we are excited to have you, and like everybody else who's contributed their story, it's just you've had a lot of lane changes, ups and downs, and created a ton of success as a mom, a wife, an entrepreneur, and we are very honored and humbled to have you as a contributor in the book because of who you are. And so, over the next little bit of time together, we're just going to allow you to share some of your story, talk about some of what you've been doing, and tell the audience a little bit about some of your background from the modeling to soccer, everything that you did and moving to California for a little bit over the summer, and then kind of where all that's led you. Unfortunately, you met Ben, who's now your husband. I'm just kidding. I love Ben. We're going to go. Is he listening?
Unfortunately.
No, he's awesome, and hopefully I'm going to come out there and ski with you guys at some point. So it's just been kind of cool becoming friends with you guys as well. And
yeah.
So let's start with, before we get to all the amazing things you're doing on QVC and Half Tees and everything that you've created with your own brand and everything, take us back a little bit to kind of some of the first beginnings that you had. I know one very significant time was spending time in California and the things you learned working for a family member. So if you want to start there, that's great. Or if you want to talk about the scholarship and, the athletic prowess that you have, and or you're too talented for me to fit all this in, or kind of the modeling and some of the stuff you're doing on the runways and kind of how a lot of that ties in together because of the soccer injuries to walking on stage and being vulnerable, and that kind of has led you partly to what you're doing with some of the women with your clothing line. So wherever you want to kind of pick up is awesome.
Well, okay, let's pick up with back in Pittsburgh a long, long time ago. I had a dream of being the best soccer player in the world. And that I played every year, and I was captain, and it was wonderful, and I had butterflies every time I went on stage. So I knew, that was what I'm supposed to do. But I had this opportunity to go to California one summer and spend it with my uncle in San Francisco and Palo Alto. And I needed a job. And so he actually made me take the bus by myself. They could have driven me. They made me take the bus to find a job. So I found a job working at Nordstrom down there in Palo Alto, where Stanford University is. But I also had an opportunity to work in his galleries in San Francisco, selling really expensive art pieces. And I was young. And so I had to learn how to speak about really expensive pieces and convince people to buy them and why they needed to buy them. But I loved what I was doing. So I was sales driven for sure. So back at my uncle's house, him being a major entrepreneur, I would sit in his office and I would watch him put deals together, and I'd watch him work, and I liked what he was doing. And I would sit in there as 17 years old and just ask questions. And at first I think he wasn't paying attention to me because, what 17-year-old wants to ask business questions? But I did. And then he started to answer those questions, but also saw that I had a real interest in what he was doing, and the whole business world was very intriguing to me. And so he was grooming me to what I do to everything that I do right now. But he used an example of a hot dog shop. If you own a hot dog shop, how many hot dogs do you have to sell in a day to make your money back, and how do you be profitable? These are the dialogues that we were having. And so I would have to answer these funny, I'd laugh. I said, stop it, a hot dog shop? He goes, no, I'm teaching you. So I would answer, I'm like, okay, fine. If I have a hot dog shop, I've got to sell this many hot dogs at this price to make a profit and all this kind of stuff. And so, but there was a lot of really influential little moments and just really important things that he gave me, little nuggets of gold that I've kept with me forever on how to run businesses. And so I didn't want to go back to Pittsburgh. I called my dad and I said, I'm going to stay. I'm going to graduate here. I've already found a school to go to, and I know what college I'm going to, and I'm good, and I'm not going to be back. And he goes, I think it might be a good idea for you to come home, just graduate. It'll be good for you. And so I'm like, oh, no. And so I did. I went back, played soccer, had a scholarship to play in college. Yeah, and I went up there. This was Penn State. We went up. We checked out the college campus. We met with the coaches. I mean, it was amazing. But I don't know. Something happened, and this was my cousins in California. And they said, you know what? I think you love Utah. Go to the West. You love the West. Go to Utah. Go to college here. You'll love it. And so I've never been to Utah. Number one, I wasn't going to play soccer. I was enrolling in college late. And I go, okay, let's do it. I really did. And so my parents said, you're crazy. And I go, no, I'm moving. After graduation, a week after graduation, Dad, will you take me to Utah? Where are we going to go? I'm like, I don't know. And so they thought I was nuts. And my dad said, okay, let's do this. And so we hopped in my red Celica, drove across the country in a couple days, had a hilarious time driving. And Dad dropped me off for college. And I never went back.
And so after that, I know what happened, but what transition did that lead to for you?
Well, that just messed up everything. So I'm playing intramural soccer with girls who don't play very competitively. So that was not my favorite. It was nothing I had planned. I had everything planned. Everything in my life as a kid was planned. And so this was totally thrown a curveball and everything. I met my husband, which I met Ben. He moved to Utah, back to Utah the day I moved to Utah. Right. So our friends introduced us a few months later, and the rest is history. So now I'm calling my parents saying, hey, guys, I met somebody I think I might marry. And they said, you're crazy. And I go, but no, I'm really serious. Yeah, they thought it was nuts. And they said, well, like, what's going on over there? And I said, well, I don't know. I just like this guy. And we ended up getting engaged. Ben called my dad, this Italian family, and said, hi, can I marry your daughter? And he goes, first of all, I don't know you. Second of all, what will you be doing for a living? What's your plans? What are your goals? Where are you going? And he goes, I don't know. I'm 20 years old. I have no idea what I'm doing. And my dad's like, oh, I don't like that. I don't know. And so I brought my dad back to Pittsburgh, and he met my whole entire Italian family. Oh, my gosh, poor Ben. And he still wanted to marry me afterwards. And, I wrapped up a couple years of college. That's all I got in. And Ben and I got married. And 4 years later, we had our first baby. So much for going with the plan.
Right, which sometimes happens. And we'll get to Riley in a second because it's super cool about that and becoming a mom and everything. But I think one of the key things there is that sometimes we plan our lives and sometimes life has different plans for us. And you are living that out. And I think your common theme is, number one, you're nuts and you're crazy. And that's awesome. And you're spunky. And we love that about you. But I think it's your ability to adapt and go with it. And in all the success you've created, that's just an attribute that I think is key. And we continue seeing that with every successful person. So I want you to kind of talk, before we talk about Riley, do you want to share about the pageants? Because I think it's really, really important, kind of the vulnerability there that has helped you partly create the model of what you have with your clothing line.
So picture a soccer player wanting to be a pageant girl. I mean, they don't really go together. But I love to get rough and tough and dirty, and I love to be pretty. So I love makeup as much as I love my cleats and a soccer ball. And so I've watched the pageant for years. And one night I watched this one, and I said to my parents, I want to be in a pageant. And my mom said, no way. And I said, no, I really do. And so I said, Dad, my negotiation skills were what I would say top notch, and I convinced him that I needed to be in this pageant. And he said, "You want to be the queen? I will help you be the queen." And I go, "Okay, let's do it." And so we worked really hard, and then my mom helped me get the dresses, and I had to learn how to walk, and I had to learn. It was a lot of work. And so then we're on stage, and we're interviewing with judges, and gosh, I'm seeing some gorgeous people. And so I'm feeling like probably I'm not sure I need to be there, right? It's a little, you literally pick up my dress and you see scars from me fly tackling a week before. But I kept it real. This is me. I love this, and I love soccer, and I really do. This is just fun. And so I was so real with the judges that, yes, I ended up winning my first pageant. And I remember them saying, we want the All-American girl. And to them, the All-American girl was somebody that could be real and not always be so, perfectly put together with makeup and hair and all this. Like, let's take off all of that facade and let's just show who you really are. And I think, I don't think I intentionally did that. That just was who I was. And so I won the first pageant, and that was an amazing experience. That kind of taught me pretty young how to speak, how to be in front of people, just meet some really neat, influential people. Make-A-Wish Foundation was a major contributor to this pageant, so I did lots of work with them, lots of work with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And so we did a lot of fun things, and it was a really great experience for me being as young as I was. So I wasn't a model, and I wasn't a pageant girl. This was my first pageant, and I just happened to win it.
Awesome. And so, flashback, I guess technically flashing forward in the chronological order, but what we were just talking about when you became pregnant and you were going to become a mom, obviously there's excitement. There's probably a little bit of fear is probably not the right word, but anxiety, because not everything had gone to plan. And then you birthed your first beautiful girl, and it was not necessarily a traditional birth. I'm not even just talking about her, but you just, everything that happened. So do you want to kind of share that and then talk a little bit about Riley? Because I think it's so cool who she's become as I've seen her. And you obviously and Ben, younger parents, kind of going through some of that stuff. So are you willing to share some of that?
Sure. So I meet my husband a few months after I moved to Utah. A year later, we get married. And so the world is just completely turning upside down. None of my plans. I'm supposed to graduate from college and be an executive from in an advertising firm. I have big plans here. And so everything changed. 4 years later, it's time. I want a baby. And so because I'm such a planner, I say, okay, we've got to have a house first, and then we're going to have a baby, and then everything's going to be situated and planned, and great. And so, yeah, we did that. We bought our first house. We actually moved to Vegas at this point. We bought our first house and decided to have our first baby. Now, I was that health freak. I didn't take a Tylenol with that kid. I exercised. I was healthy. Everything was great. The pregnancy was a little scary just in the beginning, and then it was fine. Everything went fine until I had her. So I'm in the delivery room, and it was extremely traumatic. Childbirth and some pretty sweet experiences in there. And then Riley was born without a left hand, and so they hand me this baby, and Ben's next to me, and he says, where's her hand? I go, oh, she's like all in a little tiny ball, like just rub her little hands off. She's fine. And he goes, no, it's like it's not there. But I'm highly medicated at this point because they gave me way too much, so I can't even move, think, feel, nothing. And so I look at her, and mind you, there's like I'm hemorrhaging and some pretty freaky things. So the doctor's having a meltdown. The baby might not have a hand. I don't know. So the nurses take her away from me, and they don't bring her back to me for quite a while. And so hours later, I call and I say, can you bring our baby back? And so they bring our baby back down. And, yeah, Riley she really didn't have a left hand. And so, that was that was interesting, right? So there's some pretty neat moments where I'm alone with the baby, and they're sending like orthopedic surgeons in my room and counselors and all this stuff. And one counselor said to me, no, this wasn't a counselor. This was the orthopedic surgeon, the first person I met. And he goes, she'll just learn how to put her hand in her pocket to hide it. And I go, okay. Now, my mother-in-law was there, and she's not medicated, so she's livid, but she doesn't say anything. And I'm so out of it that I'm like, okay. And then Ben goes home because he's just struggling. And I unwrap the baby, and I look at her, and I go, all right, kids, you're mine. Let's do this. They bring counselors in to see how I'm doing. And I'm like, what do you mean, how am I doing? What do you want me to do? You want her back? Like, what? I'm fine. This is what I've been dealt. You deal with it. It's not like I can return her. And so Riley and I had a little talk. She's so cute. And I unwrap her and I look at her. I'm like, okay, baby, let's do this. And so we brought her home, and we spent a ton of time together. Ben was working graveyard then and sleeping during the day. So unfortunately, he didn't get to spend a lot of time with her. But Riley, I didn't even pretend like her not having a left hand was a issue at all. Because the thing is she's going to have to figure out in this world how to do things without me there, and I'm not going to be there forever. And so Riley she had the biggest attitude, and partially pride because I taught it to her. And she'd look in the mirror and say, I'm so beautiful and all these funny things. And so she grew up, and now she's 16, to be an extremely confident, amazing young lady that can do anything she wants to do. And so Riley decided a couple years ago that she wanted to play the piano. And so I, for a second, had to think, okay. I called the piano teacher over, and I said, Riley wants to play the piano. And I said, are you ready? Are you prepared to teach her? And she took a minute. She looked at Riley, and she goes, okay, I can do this. And I looked at Riley, and I said, okay, babe, if you're going to play the piano, you're playing the piano. That means you're going to practice, and I'm going to push you as hard as I pushed Ellie, my other daughter. And she goes, okay, Mom, I'm excited. And so she played the piano, and that kid learns how to play the piano. She rolls with her left hand, and she plays with this, and then she was crossing over, and amazing music was coming out of this child. Blew me away. And then she decided piano wasn't for her, and she says, I want to play the guitar. And I'm like, okay, well, how in the world is that going to work? But I didn't say anything. Like, I've never said anything. Like, she wanted to tie a shoe. I said, figure out how to tie a shoe. And she'd laugh, and she'd say, okay, And so Riley wants to play the piano. So she ended up playing upside down, which only very, very few people in the world play upside down. She plays upside down, and she strums with her left hand, and she plays with her right. So it's hard to teach her because everyone's teaching opposite. Sure. And she still plays, and she's in the advanced guitar class in high school. And it is the coolest thing to see that you really can do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it. But on my side as a mom, I just, I don't know. I just think she's been dealt that deck of cards for a reason. And she's going to be amazing because of it. And I always tell her, I said, you need to be a public speaker. I will only take 10% when I book you, and we will be everywhere. And she will laugh and laugh and laugh. And I said, Riley, you have a message. Like, there's something. She's had some pretty traumatic things happen in the past few weeks to her. And it's grooming her for something huge and great. And she has things to share with people. And so I'm excited for her journey.
Good. That's awesome. And that says a lot about you. And let's talk, offline after this about the live event we're going to be doing, and see what we can do to support her dreams in that. Because life is about helping other people, live their dreams out. And that's what hopefully we're embodying at what we do. So we'd love to do that for her if we can make that work. And maybe a mom-daughter combination would be pretty cool to do something. So we'll chat about that. But let's kind of transition to all of that, has partly been the catalyst for some of what you have created. Your clothing line with Half T and some of the other things that you can talk about are partly based upon creating clothing for women, to not just clothe them, with actual cloth, but, really to be able to give them their bodies and, make them feel comfortable and happy and love who they are, because we have this unfortunate reality in today's society that women are supposed to look a certain way and men are supposed to have a six pack. And, maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But, all the way back to you flaunting what you have with scars all over your body, and being real, I think has set you up to really help empower women. So you're not just doing it through the clothing, but you're doing it through your entire brand. And so just talk to us about what you're doing. And then obviously we just had Kevin Harrington on right before this, and he was partly responsible for creating the infomercial market, and you're on QVC a lot. And so we just want to talk about what you do, the spokes role that you have for your company and everything that you're doing and all the success you've done, because our hope is that you will land a couple clients from doing this with all the success that you are doing. So be free to brag a little bit and promote what you guys do, because that's what this part is about.
Well, Half Tea is a clothing collection, but the basic of the basics. So we strip it down to the first layer that a woman puts on their body, but it's a half of a shirt, and so it's a collection of shirts, but they're half. And so when people look at them, they would interpret it as being like a belly shirt or a half shirt, and they say, not for me. But the whole premise of our company is that we provide those essential basic pieces to women to help make getting dressed easier and help them feel more confident and beautiful with them at whatever shape or size they are. And we love that because we're not just providing just another thing out there. Oh, it's just a great thing, a shirt, blazer, whatever. It actually serves a really great purpose. And so this collection for women, it helps women say, yes, I can shop at this store, or I can do this, or I can shop my closet and wear things that didn't fit right before. Because honestly, designers design clothes to fit half of our bodies out there. So the rest of us don't fit into that mold, are kind of stuck wearing things that are pulling or falling off, or they just don't look right. And so we provide those filler pieces so that women will be able to find that perfect shirt that they really want to wear. And if it just doesn't fit perfect, we've got those base pieces that help make that top or dress or blouse look amazing. And we do it with it being a half shirt without all the extra bulk and heat in the belly, which they love, we love. And so it is really fun. I took that product straight to television because it needed to be seen out there as a demonstratable product. When you see it on a hanger, you think half shirt, you're not touching it. But when I'm on air and I can demonstrate, okay, we start with a half tee and we find that shirt that's maybe in your closet that you're not wearing. And now we pull that piece out and guess what? We can wear it and we feel great. And I've got full figure women that love us because now we can provide sleeves to shirts that are sleeveless and they really want to wear because their wardrobe, the collection of places they can shop are sometimes limited. And even for petite people and regular size, it doesn't matter. We almost always grab for those base pieces. And so for us providing something that really has changed people's lives and made them feel beautiful and made them feel confident, makes us 7 years in business and all over the world now and helps us keep going. So that's really, really exciting. And, it's so less superficial and more meaningful. And that's what drives us. That passion is what makes us keep going.
We've been experiencing this. You're a rock star.
It.
Give me 1 second.
That was perfect. We can just get it back up. Awesome, Noelle.
Good.
So we'll just kind of restart it real quick. Maybe.
Maybe. What session is this? Are we on 3?
Yeah.
Track of all of these.
Yep, 3.
Session 3. Continue recording. Go live. You're on.
Awesome, Noelle. So, the quote by Audrey Hepburn is, "The beauty of a woman must be seen in her eyes because that is the doorway to her heart, the place where love resides." And I think that really captures partly what your brand is about. And when we sat down in Salt Lake City with Ben, we were kind of figuring out, does this really help? Does this book help your brand at all? And I think if you're willing to, I want you to kind of share, not just why you did this book, because it's not about us. It's not about the book specifically. I want you to kind of share the importance of branding a company and also self-branding, because I think they can go hand in hand. And you've decided to move forward, in a meet, and I had a lot of conversations. And just partly, why did you do this book? Not self-promoting for us, but you're transitioning into doing some things for Noelle, and for your own self and your own brand. And that's why you ultimately said, yeah, this makes sense for me because I want to start speaking more and doing all that. So talk to us about the direction you're going, the current shift that you've made, for two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, we want to know what you're doing. And two, if you know what you are looking for, we say you have to have your ask in gear, right? Because when you have your ask in gear, then people can serve you. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we just expect things to happen instead of going out and doing it. And ask and you shall receive. So kind of share what you're looking for, whether it's speaking gigs or, consulting, because I know you do a lot of consulting and you're very, very savvy at what you do and taking brands and helping them. So share with us what you're looking for. How can our community and everybody watching this help you out?
Well, first of all, I did the book for a few different reasons. At this stage in my life and in my career, I feel like it's important to share the ups and the downs of what I do and how to make that happen. I think that, I learned a long time ago when I started television, because I watched these professionals and they were so amazing, the way they speak, the way they present, the way they do everything. And I remember I wanted to be just like them. And I met this woman on an airplane once when I was traveling, I think, to Canada. And I don't know what she did, something in the public speaking world, but we were just talking and she said something that I'll never forget. She said, listen, it is so great to meet people that are amazing at what they do. But take flavors from each of them, but mostly you need to be you. Be you. Don't change you. Because for a few shows, I was trying to be so prim and proper and, yes, my product is lovely and so mechanical, and that's not me. I'm kind of crazy, and I'm very real. And so I had to rein that back in and remember, guess what? People like me, and me is good. And so it's kind of self-talk. But the book for me is sharing those ups and downs. It's sharing why I did those things. It's sharing when I fell, how I picked back up, how to keep pushing through really hard things. Because no business I've ever started or done has ever been easy. It hasn't. There's been some major failures, but in all these failures, I've done interviews where the questions were, do you regret any of those failures? Do you regret things that are bad that have happened? And you know what? I don't regret any of it, because all of those have helped shape me to who I am today and who I want to be tomorrow. And I personally want to keep growing and evolving. And if I can share a little bit of me with other people, and it touches and inspires them to go out and start their businesses or execute an idea that they've had for years that they've been sitting on, or just get up and be the best person they can be today, then I feel like I've done a good thing.
And Horace, we keep hearing that exact phrase in different ways. Every single person we have in this book has that mindset because they've created some sort of success, and it's about taking that and offering it as a support system for other people. And that's every single successful person does that. We all realize it at different stages in our life, but it says a lot about you as a person and what you're doing. And every single successful person usually makes more money once they actually make that transition and focus on that. Because of that, I remember you specifically talking about, before we jump into that second question, I'm going to take you back for a second when you were doing real estate and you had a little interaction, let's call it, with another kind of spunky, very powerful woman as well, who was already kind of solidified in the industry. But I think
Mm-hmm.
this was a moment in your life where you said, look, it's okay for me to stand up for myself. And the best people in the world, they don't stand up for themselves. They stand up for other people when they can't stand for themselves. And that's what Noelle, that's when I look at you, that's what you are doing. And that's why you're having so much success. So just, if you want to kind of hit on that and that experience, and then we'll kind of wrap up with that other question that I asked about, what can we do to support you and what are you looking for?
That was a very interesting moment for me. I was 20, selling real estate, and I was actually doing really well. I was new, and I was listening to my brokers, and one broker in particular that was an amazing mentor, and he taught me how to do all these things, and I was doing them, and they were working. And so, yes, I started to become a little bit more known in the industry. So one day I was showing a property to a couple, and the realtor was a very seasoned realtor. She was older, and she was a spitfire. And she tried to humiliate me, and she did, in front of this young couple. And I'm really, really new here, and I'm young. And so she nailed me in front of these people several times. And I went home, I was mad, but I cried. And then I sat down for a minute, I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? I'm not okay with this. So I called her up. Now, I really wanted to lose it and just be so ugly. But the thing is that wouldn't have got me anywhere, and I knew that. And so I called her up and I said, listen, I didn't appreciate how you treated me when we were with our clients, and I want to let you know that I'm going to be in this business for a really long time. And so I would appreciate the same respect that I give you, and don't ever treat me like that again. Never again. And so it took her a minute. She kind of had to breathe for a moment. And she came back and said, okay, I apologize. And we became actually really pretty good friends. And we stayed in the business together for quite a long time. And that was a very defining moment for me. Standing up for myself so young to someone who I actually really did look up to was not easy to do. But it was something that I needed to do, and it helped me realize that, you know what, I am strong, I can do this, and I'm going to. And it helped me keep pushing forward.
Awesome. Yeah, very, very cool. And so in the last couple of minutes, Noelle, why don't you share with us that question that we asked? What are you looking for? Because the whole goal of building a tribe and a community is to hopefully be able to network to a place where we can offer things to other people that we can't do ourselves, but somebody else that we know can. So what is it? What's your ask? What do you need at this point in your career? You've accomplished a lot. You've done a lot. You've got an amazing family. You guys are happy. You're fulfilled. You're abundant. What do you need?
Well, we opened up another clothing line, and this clothing line is a line that has meaning as well as Half Tea does. And so it's just not another T-shirt. And so it's growing a brand new baby brand. And so that's such a great question. What do I need? I probably need support in growing this brand, Sign Noelle, into the empire that I wanted to do, because it also empowers people. And one of the things that inspired me to do it was when Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. And that daring adventure stuck. And that is what we created the brand around, daring, to inspire women to be who they are without excuses, to help them move forward in their journeys, and help us all unite and support and love each other. And so if we could have support and love building that brand, that would be absolutely amazing. Because guess what? It's a startup, and startups aren't easy. As amazing as the meaning and the premise of the brand, it's also a brand new baby business that needs some love and needs some coddling.
Yeah, Horace, sure.
Noelle, what is the link that I could kind of post in the comments for everybody to be able to support, this brand new baby that's coming?
The brand new baby link would be, the website is signednoelle.com. Noelle.
Signed Noelle?
Yep.
Signed Noelle.
Just like if I was to sign it. SIGNED. Noelle. NOELLE.
Signed Noelle.com.
Big brand.
Oh, it's breaking up. Say that one more time.
It's just signednoelle.com.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying something after the signed Noelle part. Cool. I'll post that for everyone. Is there a way everyone can kind of stay in touch with you, or kind of what's your best method of contact if someone wants to, reach out and help you in any way?
They can reach out to us on Instagram, and that's just signed Noelle, or they can also email me at n@signednoelle.com.
Perfect.
Bam.
Added the link. So we're good there. You guys heard how to get in touch with Noelle. So let's continue to support each other. We can all do it together. And awesome. Update, guys. We're number 4 in different categories, so we're pushing. We just beat all the Donald Trumps, Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone books.
We're better than the president,
Number
baby.
4.
What?
Number 4. We keep pushing, guys, and we're still doing this for you. We have a couple more guests coming on. Noelle, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to leave the world with?
Oh, no. You guys, love you all. I'm super excited to be a part of it. And anybody out there that's watching that has a dream, get up off the couch and do it. And use us to support, because that's what we're here for.
Awesome, girl.
Well,
We
thank you
appreciate
so
you.
much, Noelle.
So good to meet you.
All right. Have a good one.
Love you long
Thanks,
time.
you too.